We're back with another reaction. Trap University, shout out Trap University, man. Dark side of Beverly Hills. Let's get into it.
Club, modeled after Eyes Wide Shut, with alleged members such as Gwyneth Paltrow and Hunter Biden, definitely does exist in Beverly Hills. Bitch, I'm rolling, yeah, I'm off the F, got me But the woman that was calling for help trying to climb over the wall of a Saudi Princess Beverly Hills mansion, that also happened. And when you search up Beverly Hills nowadays, all you'll see is how Jeff Bezos is building a $175 million house, but we know there's much more
That's me and moving the mouse.
going on in Beverly Hills than that. So I thought, what is going on? Not in Jeff Bezos' house, but in Beverly Hills. It's literally the meeting spot of the richest and most powerful people in the United States, because all of them have a house here. But why? Rich people hate taxes, and California has the highest income tax rate in the country. We already know that a guy like Jeff Bezos worked out a nice deal to have Amazon, one of the biggest companies in the world, pay less taxes, and we know that one of the most exclusive clubs in the country is still paying taxes from the era when your grandpa bought his 3-bedroom house for $40,000. What got me was the 2015 report of a bloodied woman calling for help trying to climb over the fence of a Saudi Princess Beverly Hills mansion. And not only that, but the fact that the prince was able to bond out, go back home to Saudi Arabia, and get the charges dismissed. 3 women in the US claimed Prince Majid Abdulaziz Al Saud held them captive for 3 days at his Beverly Hills mansion. So we have some type of Illuminati sex club operating in Beverly Hills, along with members of royal families involved in things like assault, ordering murders, and one princess was even implicated in the death of a famous actor's brother. So let's start with the royals, then the sex club, and then we'll get into who runs this city. Now, the women who claimed they were held hostage in Beverly Hills did later sue the prince and get an undisclosed settlement. But the incident happened in September 2015. In that same month, another prince from another country was also in Beverly Hills making the news. Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad was cited for reckless driving after he was caught on camera speeding through Beverly Hills and almost blown up his Ferrari. But that's not all he did in California, because he employed 2 guys from Los Angeles for his security detail, one guy being a medic and the other a Marine, Matthew Petard. Matthew actually ended up suing the Sheikh, and it's only because of this lawsuit that any of this information came out. So, while in Beverly Hills, the bodyguard accuses the prince of ordering him to kill 2 people. One guy was supposedly an enemy of his family, and the other was a woman, a friend of the prince's wife, who he suspected of giving away his location to another enemy of the family. Now, these enemies are not named, but I have to assume they're dangerous since he was sentencing people to death for dropping his location. But as far as I know, this lawsuit is still up in limbo somewhere. Royal families in the Middle East do love Beverly Hills though, as many of them own royal palaces here. But of course they'd want to own property here, as Beverly Hills is known to attract not just rich people, but rich people that like to show off. But it gets even darker. Mark Ruffalo, the guy who played the Incredible Hulk, in 2008, his brother was found shot in his Beverly Hills apartment, and the only other people in this apartment were a Saudi princess and her boyfriend. Now, although this woman wasn't officially a princess, her family married into the Saudi royal family, and she grew up very wealthy, had bodyguards that even followed her to school, and she was part of Paris Hilton's crowd, who were the first generation of influencers on social media. Now, the princess, Shaha, turned herself into the police along with her boyfriend, and despite the death being ruled a homicide, they were both released. But it gets even worse because she ended up dying 4 years later, and her boyfriend died in 2022, both mysteriously. But when TMZ spotted the 2 of them after she was released, they talked about a 3rd suspect that was in the room. But strangely, I've never seen this person mentioned in any paperwork or by any news outlet.
Do you know, like, with the 3rd person of interest, do you know who that is?
Of course I know who he is, because he was in the room with me.
And there hasn't been an update in this case for over a decade. So let's talk about this club. Now, I'm assuming it's meant to be pronounced as Sanctum, and without much proof, it's said that members include many famous people and politicians. But in 2023, when the founder sold ownership of the club, he revealed that Hunter Biden was in fact a member, and revealing the identity of a member is apparently against the rules, so he was banned for life. But this did actually prove that someone like Hunter Biden was a member, and obviously he's not the only one. So could there be other people from elite political families involved? Definitely. But why? What is it about people with all this money and status and being sexual deviants? Supposedly, women outnumber men
bored,
6 to 1 in this club, and although women are required to be attractive, the men
All
who
that
join
money
are
bored
not.
as hell.
Is this just a secret meeting place for people to advance their career in exchange for some type of freaky activity? Most politicians are dusty old men, and if I had to put money on it, I'd say majority of women involved are under 40. But then you have famous actresses like Gwyneth Paltrow that are allegedly members. Well, the club opened in 2013, so not only would she have been in her 40s, but she would have also been a married woman. What would a 40-year-old married woman be doing at a Beverly Hills orgy club? This is the same woman that accused Harvey Weinstein of making unwanted sexual advances. But damn, you telling me there's not at least 10 other Harvey Weinsteins in that club right now? Every scene from inside this club looks fucking scary. A woman who did interviews inside spoke to 20 women, 8 of which claimed to be professional models or actresses. And she also talked to a woman who was still wearing the dress that she wore to the Academy Awards. And she also witnessed some wife swapping. Hey brother, even if you say as a single man you'd want to attend one of these parties, as a married man, you can't just be swapping your wife out. And the man brought along to witness everything by the interviewer called it a pagan Hollywood sex cult. What makes this club different from everything that Diddy was accused of? You see, I always knew it was kind of suspicious that all of the famous people claimed that, oh, we went to Diddy's house, but we didn't go to the after party. Okay, so y'all was either here at the Beverly Hills Sex Club or you was at Diddy's house. Anyway, what circle of elite wealthy people run Beverly Hills? Well, the mayor is Sharona Nazarian. What makes her unique is that she's only been mayor once. So, Beverly Hills is run exactly how you'd imagine a small wealthy town would be run in some dystopian future. It's just a revolving cycle of the same circle of people. 4 out of the 5 members on the city council are not the mayor. But 2 of those 4 already served as mayor, since the mayor is not elected by the people elect the council and they appoint the mayor. And the current circle of people running the city have been exchanging positions with each other since 2013, with one mayor serving 2 different terms and 3 different mayors serving 3 different terms, all from 2013 to 2025. Since the current mayor was elected this year, that means that only 1 out of the last 12 years didn't see one of these 3 people serve as mayor. And by definition, that's an oligarchy, right? Obviously not to the same scale as a Russian oligarch who might control an oil company or something, but still, rule of the few, I guess. And just due to the high concentration of wealth in LA County, it should be pretty obvious that wealth inequality is pretty bad. But LA County is actually less equal than Mexico. If LA County were its own country, it would be in fact one of the most unequal countries in the world. For reference, somewhere like Tualatin County, Utah has only about 70,000 residents. They probably all went to school together. And most people here either work in the school district, Walmart, or in government. And as a result, it has an income inequality value of 0.35, which is similar to Portugal. Not the best, but it's not Zimbabwe, I guess. But Beverly Hills was developed specifically to be exclusive. And it's ironic that the city once refused to sell property to Jews, and now the Jewish community has actually been key in developing Los Angeles and LA County, with LA having the largest Jewish population outside of New York and Israel. And not only that, but the city of Beverly Hills actually entered into 2 different agreements with the country of Israel to tackle the water shortage problem. Not really sure why, since Israel also sits in the desert and pretty much experiences droughts alongside Southern California. I mean, they do have a system that makes salt water drinkable that's pretty effective, but these agreements are probably not just about water. But during droughts, mainly because some people in Beverly Hills use 6 to 12 million gallons of water per year just to water their 13-acre estates, the city is one of the largest consumers of water in California. So yeah, maybe they could use some help. This is the desert. Please stop watering your grass. If you want a green lawn, move to Washington. Anyway, a city built to keep poor people out of sight was always going to end up like Beverly Hills. But some of the stuff I mentioned in this video is just the tip of the iceberg, because there are some crazy theories about what the Saudi mansions are actually being used for in Beverly Hills, but for the sake of my channel, I'll be careful about mentioning them until I have more proof. But thank you guys for watching as always, and Merry Christmas. Unless you're watching this in some month other than December. In that case, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Shout out Trap University, man. Shit going on there, well, bro. Appreciate you, man, to the end of the video. You already know what's going on with me. I'm gone.